At step 4 of the Quant unknowns analysis workflow. In this step, we're going to take the hits which have come from the spectral library searching and divide them into target hits and non-target hits. So from the previous knowledge of my quantitation target method, I'm able to target match these hits, and that then provides me a focused subset of non-targets, helping answer the question, what else is in my sample? So if I look at the target match method, I'll see that I have some constraints on what I'll consider targets, for example, meeting the qualifier ratios. Also have some constraints on the hits. And I'd like to point out that there's a wide variety of choices with the estimation. So having the response factors from your quantitation method can be applied to both the targets and the non-targets. For example, I could take the response factor of the closest target's ISTD and then deliver estimated concentrations of my non-targets. So what we'll show you in the demo is the identification of targets and non-targets. We'll look at unknowns analysis. As you can see, at the high concentration, deconvolution library search has identified 48 of the 49 targets, and I find the 2 ISTDs in the matrix blank. So let's take a look at the presentation here. I'm sitting on the target, which I filtered here by only looking at the targets, DDE. So looking down at the ion peak traces, here's the TIC. You can see it's a little difficult to find that in the TIC. But if I remove the TIC, you can easily see from the ion peak shapes these individual traces. If I look at the spectral, which is head to tail here, I notice that the coloring shows me the target and qualifier ions which are used by the Quant method, so I can compare against those. And I can individually look at the spectrum and, for example, add 210 to the presence of the ion peak shapes to see if that also matches the ion peak model shape. Or I can subtract one. I see the presentation of the structure over here, and that allows me to go through the compounds one at a time and to get a visual affirmation and confidence of these targets. Take a look at the non-targets, what we're really interested in. So as you can see from the columns here, I've got a delta retention time, the difference between the library retention time and my sample's components retention time, match factor, an estimated concentration, and a whole set of chromatography metrics, including full width at half height maximum, signal to noise symmetry, as well as others. So let's say in my workflow I've decided that with match factor, I don't want to pursue anything that has a match factor lower than 60. Let's call it 70. So I'll say with Excel, I'll mark those and I'll delete those hits. So now I've got a smaller subset. And let's say I have one other criteria that I want to use, estimated concentration. So if I see that the estimated concentration is below 0.2, I will also eliminate that set. And you can see the pattern here. I will end up with a small set, depending upon what I've looked at, that I can further go on and investigate as tentatively identified compounds.